Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Friday. Let me just say this to you. This flu season, cold season, or whatever this is, it is kicking my behind. I am feeling not so great again today. This is twice since Christmas. Not really sure what happened. Maybe I picked up something. I actually did go on vacation, so woohoo to me for that. Had an opportunity to cruise a bit with some folks, the blue and white people, Phi Beta Sigma and Zeta Phi Beta Incorporated. Shout out to each of you if I saw you on the cruise. Hope you made it home safely. Today's episode, we're going to talk a bit about something that I'm hearing a lot of questions from people about. I'm receiving questions. I'm hearing people talk about it on social media or just even in random conversations. For example, even while I was on vacation, the perfect strangers will sit down with me and just chat about certain things. And this is one of them. I am hearing people ask not only about whether or not a person is ready to be in a relationship or not, but they're asking this question: are you healed? And I want to talk about that today because that question was recently asked of me. Not only was that question asked of me, but a statement was made to me that made me pause for a moment, self-reflect, and think a bit. The statement was said to me that you may not be as healed as you think you are. And y'all know, you already know, I keep it all the way real with you. I tell you just about everything that happens. So I'm transparent about these kinds of things. So hearing that, whoo, that gave me pause for a second. Because here it is that I am speaking to you, sharing my story, guiding some of you, because I do spend some time coaching others and working with them on their relationships, not only based off of my experiences from the past, but also based off of research. But hearing that I might not be as healed as I think I am, again, that gave me pause because it gave me a moment to think about something that happened. I shared with someone, something about my feelings, a particular way that I felt. And this was some time ago. And the person didn't respond in the way in which I thought they should respond. And it bothered me a bit. It bothered me. I think that I was triggered. In fact, as I look back on it, I was triggered because in that specific moment, it took me back to a time in when I was in that relationship that I spoke with you all about, the 14-year relationship in which there was so much going on behind the scenes that I didn't know about. But there were also some things that I should have seen as red flags. For example, there was always a time in which if I said something or I did something, it was turned around to be about me. For example, if I said, hey, I wish we could do this differently, or do you mind doing this? Or let's just talk about, a behavior or a tone that you chose to use with me. It was always turned around to make it seem like I had done something wrong or that I had actually deserved whatever was happening in that moment. When 99% of the time, I had not. And even in moments in which I shared my feelings with that particular person, he might sometimes say, yeah, I love you too, or not say anything at all. So when I shared my feelings with this person some time ago, different person, there wasn't a response, at least not one in which I was hoping to receive. And it triggered me. And I'm saying that because as I sit back and look at that, it took me back to that time in which I felt like I had to prove who it is that I was in the moment. I had to prove my feelings. I had to prove my loyalty via actions. And I know you say you're always supposed to support your words with actions. You're right. I believe that 100%. However, when you're somebody like me and you're already doing that every single day, 365 days out of the year, there shouldn't be another need to prove that. So as I look back at that moment, I think to myself, am I 100% healed? Was I just triggered? And is there a difference? So I'm gonna say this to you and let you ponder on it for a moment. As I thought more about this, dug into some more research, because as you'll find when you speak with me or you do anything one-on-one with me, any type of coaching, I always look further into what's happening with other people, or I look further into the literature and what people have found to be true. So what I found to be true is this. Most people are not ever 100% healed after they've been hurt in some kind of way. And that does not just apply to relationships, and I mean romantic relationships. It applies to relationships with your family. All of those feelings or letdowns that you've had in any of those kinds of relationships kind of stay with you in a way. Yes, you do the work to work towards healing, because I am doing the work. And that is the thing that I think is important for us to remember, that while you may never be 100% truly healed, because some say they are, until they have that moment in which they're actually triggered. Because you just never know when that could be. It could be something from 30 years ago that happened to you as a child or as a teenager or your young adulthood, and some new experience puts you in that place where you feel those things that you felt at that moment, a moment of inadequacy, a moment of, wow, I can't believe I'm feeling this. Wow, I thought I forgot all about that. And that is what that moment felt like to me. I thought I had forgotten about feeling unworthy, undeserving, not like the person who I am, the kind-hearted, giving, patient person that I am. I felt so downtrodden, so out of sorts. So having that moment in which I didn't receive that expected response, or even not necessarily expected, but a different kind of response, it puts you in a place where you have to think about it, and you have to say, okay, I thought I was all the way over that, yet I wasn't, because my response was one that was clear that I had been triggered, but it took me a moment to understand that. I couldn't understand why it bothered me. And when you think back on it, that exact moment that you think that you're 100% healed, something pops out of the blue and it could pull you right back, and you go, oh my gosh, I'm sorry. So what I need us to do as we're on our healing journeys, as we're dealing with life, all of the things, the challenges, the joys, the love, the beauty of it all, we need to remember what I say to us all the time: give yourself grace. If you happen to find yourself in a space in which you are triggered because of something that comes back in a moment that you were not expecting, please apologize. Please apologize immediately. Make sure you correct the actions. Make sure you don't dwell on it, because we can do that. We can dwell on it, because I know for me, if I feel like I have offended someone or hurt them in some kind of way, I will spend an enormous amount of time trying to correct it. It could be days, it could be weeks, it could be months in which I am still working to help the other person to understand that I meant absolutely no harm. And I think that for me, that's also a part of my healing process, because I've been hurt in the past before. And I never, never, ever, ever want someone in my presence or someone that I care about to feel in a way that I have felt in the past. So I probably overcompensate for that to make sure that they understand that I didn't want to hurt them in any kind of way. I'm doing my best to show them that, not just to say it, but to allow my actions to lead. And many times we don't always do that. Many times we will just apologize and we think that's it. We have to give that person an opportunity to sit with it for a moment. Try to understand where we were coming from in our moment of, what's the word that I'm looking for? Our moment of trigger, because that's probably what it was. The moment in which we felt inadequate again, the moment we felt unworthy again, the moment we felt as if we didn't matter, because there are times when some of us feel that way, that we didn't matter to the people who we want to matter to the most. So again, I ask, are you healed? Maybe, maybe not. As for me, I am definitely still on that journey. And I don't mind sharing that with you. I do not mind saying I am still on a journey to heal. So when I said that to someone recently, they asked me, well, Dr. Tammy, you say you're still healing, but you also say you're ready for love. You're ready to be in a relationship. How can those two things coexist? For me, maybe not for you, but for me, they can coexist because I am still doing the work on myself. I am still growing. I am still self-reflecting. I am still changing behaviors. Anything that I think could be harmful to anyone or even perceived as negative and hurtful, I'm working on that. I'm also working on word choices, because we have to remember that sometimes the words that we use can hurt, even if that's not our intent. Because remember, intentions can be great, but if they're not supported with great character, it's a wrap. So make sure, as I am doing, choosing my words carefully, choosing the actions to support my words, because that's also a part of my healing journey. Is a part of getting me to where I want to be as an individual, so that when my person presents themselves, it's a smoother transition. And remember this is one of the things that I love to say, because for me, I don't expect for a person to come to me and say, oh my God, I am 100% healed, when I know that's more than likely not the case. What I do know is they may present themselves further along in their healing journey than I may be, but in a place in which I understand that they're a human being, that they are imperfect, just as I am. And as I always tell you, two imperfect people can be perfect for each other. The difference is we have to be prepared to do the work, because so many people think that Once you enter a relationship, you've been dating, you've decided to be exclusive, now you are committed, you're in a committed relationship, you somehow think that magically everything just falls into place. Everything is just absolutely perfect. And in some instances, people have that. Some people's relationships are just solid gold from the very beginning. But in others, there's a little work required in the getting to know your person, in the getting to understand who they are, in the getting to understand what works for them and what doesn't work for them. Those are the things that we work on. We learn what works for us together as people. So again, are we always healed? 100%? More than likely not. I spend so much of my time each day speaking to people who have been hurt, who are still hurting. But when I speak with them, I can tell which ones are ready for a relationship because they are doing the work. They are doing the work. And I'm going to tell you something else. If you have a partner who is currently in therapy and you are as well, there is absolutely nothing wrong with doing couples therapy, even if you're not married. If you're in a committed relationship and you want to do that, to work together, there's nothing wrong with that. That is also a part of a healing process that you can do jointly, that you can do together. I personally think it's a beautiful thing. I think it is wonderful, absolutely wonderful to say, hey, babe, I'm feeling this kind of way. I wasn't really sure how to approach it with you. I can't find the right words right now. Do you mind if we talk about it in therapy? And remember, even if you don't use therapy, it's perfectly okay when you're communicating with your person to say, can we table this for a moment? Can we circle back to that? Give me a moment to process it, and let's get back to it. Again, those are parts of healing, because I don't know about you, but the old me, the 20-something me, would never have said, let's circle back to that. It would have just been rah, 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 right there. Let's talk about it. I might follow you to the next room because you're not ready and I want to talk about it still. A part of healing is moving beyond where you were in your past and doing better, not being stuck where you were. Taking ownership of where you have made a mistake, where you may have wronged someone, acknowledging that you hurt somebody's feelings, and making sure you do what's right when it comes to apologizing and changing your actions. All of these things are considered a part of your healing process. They definitely are part of mine, because I work hard on trying to do all of these things that I'm talking to you about today. I find that for me, I may very well be on a healing journey for who knows how long. And as long as whomever comes into my life understands that I'm a work in progress, as he may very well be as well. But what is wrong with being a work in progress together? I challenge you to, when your person presents themselves to you, I challenge you to stand firm in the process of working together. I challenge you not to run the very first time that something seems a little bit out of sorts, because that doesn't mean it's the worst of things. It simply could mean we need to talk about this. Let's work through it. Now, I need to be very clear. I am not saying stay through abuse of any kind, verbal, physical, mentally. I'm not saying any of that. I am simply saying that so many times in our current society, we run immediately at the least thing, the smallest of things. We hit the road without even giving that person a chance. And I'm going to tell you what I believe. I believe in my heart of hearts that so many of us have missed out on our person, the one who was made exactly for us, because we didn't take the time. We didn't take a moment to give them an opportunity to show us who they really are. We hit the road. As soon as something looked, I don't know about that. That looks a little, give it a moment. Give them grace. Give them the same grace that you would like to have. That's what we need to do as people. In any kind of relationship that we have, in a romantic one, in our relationships with families, give grace. But if you're out here looking to date, looking to be in a committed relationship, don't run immediately. Don't. Because I'm going to ask you this. How many of you are perfect? How many? I'm pretty sure I know the answer to that. How many of you have needed an opportunity for a do-over? How many of you have needed a chance to say, I messed up, I'm sorry, and you wanted that person to give you that chance, yet you don't give that chance to them? Think about it. That also is a part of your healing journey. If you can take a moment to give grace and to try to understand where the other person is coming from before you run off, you're well on your way. And I'm just going to say this. I'm trying to be well on my way as well. I'm working on this healing journey. I challenge you to do the same. I ask you to give grace. Don't run. Don't run, because that might be your person. They might be your person. Are you healed? That's today's question. Are you healed? Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Have an outstanding weekend. Give yourself grace. Give grace to others. And remember that your healing journey, just like mine, it's ongoing. You got this.